Hi you guys, how are you? I am back. I know I did my live reading a little bit earlier. Thank you guys for showing up. It was so spur of the moment. Well, actually my hands were just going crazy. I knew I had to do some readings. You guys had good questions, good feedback. I had just had some revelations here from that to now, to the point where the room was spinning when I realized what was happening. I still feel quite lightheaded, and that's why I need to read on this now, because this is so huge, and I realize the reason why I had to do that video today about Governor Whitmer, and why I had to do the live stream tonight, because it's telling the story of what is happening and what is coming. I would like to give a big shout out, thank you to Secretary Betsy Devos, because your reading in the live stream is what revealed everything I needed to know to start. I was checking with Betsy Devos. Betsy, what do you know about Governor Whitmer's video going down? Because Speaker Pelosi and the FBI seem to know. Betsy Devos, named your family. Named your family. What'd you think about that? I mean, I can't imagine Betsy Devos is sitting at the edge of her seat with like a little remote control waiting for her to just say something. I mean, talk about a supply channel or a supply line to get that done. King of Swords. You have a King of Swords? Who's that? From the Six Wands mob. With the Office of the President of the United States, she's got someone in charge to pull the plug quickly from the Trump campaign. But there is someone in charge monitoring this stuff all the time, what's going on in social media, so they can pull the plug, hit the gong. Crap. So, you've got an inside... And I'm interrupting my interruption with this edit. This flying King of Cups card is what sealed the deal for me for this reading. Putin. Swords, King of Swords, that's interesting. Because that governor in that state that looks like a hand like this, she was in the middle of live debriefing, and there's demonstrations in Michigan, and she called out everybody demonstrating, hey, I totally respect your need to demonstrate freedom of speech. I'm glad that you're going to do it in cars so you can, socially distance yourself. But do some research, man. The people who are funding this whole thing is the DeVos family. As soon as she said that, within a minute, the audio was cutting out. The screen was turning into pixels. And then finally, the entire signal got cut off. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Well, the live stream that I did earlier today, it actually started off with the FBI, which led to YouTube. The FBI and Speaker Pelosi were already all over what happened with the governor. And then I was rewatching the live stream tonight, trying to catch your questions. I got to Secretary Devos. What do you know about maybe what happened with the governor? Maybe, but it was something else too. And, because she had a hacker. Who do you know? It ended up, we discovered there's a person who's like a middleman, who's like doing the hacking. I'm like, who's this King of Swords? What is this about? I'm like, apparently she's got a new person who can do this stuff on command. When I was asking questions, I was like, who's this King of Swords? What do you know? Or something like that. And right then the King of Cups card fell out. That's my Putin card. And there were cards in that spread that reminded me of the very beginning of that reading that I did. I wanted to check in with Donald because he was so extra cuckoo tonight. And then I was like, Donald, what are you doing? Then I was like, hey, what's going on with Putin? So I started reading on him and what he is doing with the White House and theft. Okay? So putting that all together, now this wasn't even a week ago, but about a week ago I did a reading. Maybe it was the Libra full moon bigger update. Huger, bigger update, because I couldn't figure out why this Ace of Pentacles kept showing up. And in those videos, we discovered, because I saw an article that got lost, published somewhere else, that Stub Putin's state-run telecommunications company, Rostlecom, when nobody was looking, all of a sudden, Rostlecom, they were able to hijack the major streaming network cables, and all of those platforms like GoDaddy, Amazon, Apple, several others were rerouted through Rostlecom. They hijacked it. And so, getting back to what I want to read on right now from the clues that I saw tonight from tonight's reading, and that lovely Betsy Devos let too many cards fly out of my tarot deck, which made me realize what happened to Governor Gretchen, that Betsy's inside guy doing the hacking was because I think of the test run that when Rostlecom hijacked our cables, networks, I think that was the dry run to see what they could do, and the switch came from overseas at the behest of that telecommunications company. So I'm going to ask about that. Betsy DeVos. First of all, Tarot. Show me Rostlecom hijacking our CDNs, our streaming networks. So they could do that. They could do that with NBC, right? Show me Rostlecom doing that. This isn't just hacking. I'm sorry, this is not my hacking card. This is my hijacking card. This was at the very first reading that I did tonight when Donald was worried about Putin. This card kept coming up tonight and I kept saying this is a hacker. No, it's a hijacker. Holy effing FFFs everywhere. In fact, the very first reading I did tonight was with the FBI and Speaker Pelosi, and what was the goal with the Ace of Swords? What was the op they were trying to uncover? And the Wheel of Fortune, the hijacker. The hijacker is the goal. The magician, that is Josh Kushner. Oscar Health. Hanged Man is Jared. Okay. When I did the Taroscope, I did one for Rostlecom. They're in red, and then I included all the people who shared the exact same card in that same place. It's blank here in the 6th house of public servants. It's blank here in the 9th house of lands far away, Putin's house. He left those two blank. There's no one to cover here. Like plausible deniability. How could our public servants do that? How could the government do that? I have nothing here. It's because they're spread out all over the place. On the ascendant, Ras Lakam had the 7 wands, fighting off. And the Knight of Swords, intelligence. They're the ones stealing intelligence, fighting and stealing intelligence. Eric Prince had the 7 of wands. Wilbur Ross had the 7 of wands. The Moroccan Mr. F guy in charge of the learning program had the 7 of wands. Ambassador Klim to, is it Uzbekistan or Tajikistan? Turkmenistan had it. Novartis CEO had this 7 of wands. George Reinhardt. This Novartis and Davos that met in January, they're behind the hydroxyquinoquine, whatever. Larry Kudlow's in deep as well. There was only one Knight of Swords, like Ras Lakam. It was Ivanka. There's only one person in this area of identity and who they are. The 9 of Pentacles that matched Ras Lakam. The 9 of Pentacles is Elaine Chao, is a U.S. citizen. In the second house of income and gains, we have the 6 wands mob. Ras Lakam drew that, and only one other did. Oscar Health. That is the company owned by Jared and Josh. So only Jared and Josh have access to the income gains values. So this deal is by the family nepotism in the White House. The first house says go look to the 7th house of partnership. So the 9 of Pentacles being Calgon Chow, her partnership is with the Sun, as is Ras Lakam, which is Photus. Lev Parnas is there, who's helping, and Steve Mnuchin, because, you know, he's got to help with the money and the oligarchs. In the second house, 6 wands mob, Oscar Health, and we're to look to the 10th house. It's crowning Washington, D.C. Look at all these people we get. There's the 5 of wands. That's the obstruction and just not listening to rules and just doing whatever the heck they want to do. We have the energy department. Mark Green. He's the one, the administrator for USAID. He's all over the place. USAID itself has the 5 of wands. Secretary Azar, is he the labor guy? And Stub, Putin. The third house, down here, Mercury was here. It has the 3 of Pentacles for Ras Lakam. Secret talks, making decisions about what they're going to do. 2 people. DeSantis, Twitter. DeSantis, because there are so many cables coming off of the state of Florida, underground, underwater, under ocean cables. The Twitter and Jack, they are always going over towards the Middle East. So DeSantis had the cables. Twitter has the intelligence and the network capabilities. 4th house, USA defenses, our clan, our roots. 2 of Pentacles. That is, you know, balancing one thing after another. I've always said that this 2 of Pentacles, when it comes to these guys, it's not about maintaining balance. It's like spooling Russian data with U.S. data. So the 2 of Pentacles, it's the guy balancing things. It's like the Pentacles are data, and they spool around U.S. data, Russian data. It's just like it's taking and spooling and spooling. So that's our U.S. defenses there. 2 of Pentacles, sharing data. The FBI had that, thank God. Ambassador Rosenblum, he is ambassador to Uzbekistan. He had that. As did Tom Barrack, That's the guy who facilitated the nuke sales to Saudi Arabia. It was the last major printed document that Elijah Cummings submitted as a report last August. That was the weekend I was losing my mind because that video MSNBC can't, because they couldn't report on jack squat. I was so pissed off at them. Two of Pentacles and the Philippines, because the Philippines, we sent them a lot of PPE and stuff. Where's Philippines? Yep. Back on March 17th. Now, here's where it gets good. The Ace of Pentacles reversed. That was my card for the heist committed by Rostelacom and the data that they took. So that's in the 5th house of the Sun. The people that had that, the only ones were Kazakhstan, because we sent them a ton of PPE, and I think we sent them a second round of PPE/money. Mexico, the president of Mexico, so they're in on the heist. John Thune. I've been saying something's going on with John Thune. I don't know what it is. Well, now we know. 7 of Swords, nobody's working on this. 7th house of the Sun, I talked about this. 8th house, shared resources. Rostelacom drew the Hierophant reverse. The Hierophant reverse is a coup. It's a government without laws. Angela Merkel had that because I think maybe they tested on her. Kim Jong-un, KJU, Zoom. Zoom went public in March. Oh, we're sorry, we didn't know about our security. I swear to God, this was planned in advance. There's just too much. Because USAID, 8th house, shared resources. 9th house, the Star, lands far away. 10th house, what's crowning Washington, D.C.? 5 of Wands, I went through that. The 11th house, hopes, wishes, friends. That was the card, the Moon, which is China. USAID, Mark Green drew that. And India, because they received 2 shipments of USAID. They just received it like on Good Friday. They received another shipment. And then their secrets, 8 of Swords. Nobody has it. The Knight of Wands. Hidden enemies, the Knight of Wands. Those that take action. We have Mark Green again. President of Turkmenistan, Brett Kavanaugh, Putin, and Eric Trump. So, this is Rostelacom making the heist. I feel like what happened last time was merely a dress rehearsal. The good news is, wait till you see the 3rd quarter moon. I cannot wait to do that reading, do that Taroscope. It's tomorrow night, Tuesday night at like 10 something. It's later in the evening. So, Tarot, I'm going to ask again with my mini cards. I got to reverse some things here. Was Rostelacom? Okay. I can't do it this way.